Hi everyone, and welcome to a run-through of the syllabus. So the class this semester, SGS204, Professional Global Career Development. Let me say from the outset that there are so many careers that you could choose to do, and certainly in a 6-week class we can't cover all the possibilities. The way it's designed though is to kind of push you quite firmly in a few different directions. By push you firmly I mean have you really investigate in some detail a few jobs that are probably interesting to people who are taking global studies classes, right? Politics and global studies. You guys are mostly global studies. It's going to be interesting to you, I think. And certainly, if these are careers that you're not interested in, there certainly are careers that you should think about. So half of this class really is looking, probably more than half, is looking at these specific careers in some detail. And we'll investigate what they are in a second. The other half of the class really is saying, whoever you are, whatever job you're going to go for, there are some skills that you're going to have, right? Certainly you're going to have to build a resume, a convincing, detailed resume that is going to impress potential employees. You're going to have to write a cover letter. Also, you're going to have to have writing skills generally, right? And so it's not just writing skills. The other thing I'm going to push you kind of towards in terms of skills and personal development is a big grant, like a big national grant. And what I mean by that is either a boring fellowship, we'll talk about the difference between these two later on in the course, but even either a boring fellowship or a Fulbright fellowship. I want you to seriously consider both of these options to go and study abroad for an extended period of time after your graduation and work on projects. That's going to make you more employable in all sorts of different careers. And so I'm going to push you. We'll see as we go down. Part of the requirement of the course is that you write an application. You don't have to send it in, right? I'm not going to force you to apply for something that you have no interest in doing, but you have to at least go through the process of preparing the application materials, and I'm going to grade those. And so the going through a grant application is a useful skill to have. Also, I hope. This happened last time I taught the class. One of the students in my class, he did the boring application materials for the class. He later then turned those into an actual application, sent them off, and last I heard, he didn't get selected, but he was on the list, right? He was one of the, I don't know if they call them stand-ins, somebody who, if anybody drops out, he's next. So that was, for me, a great outcome from the class. I'm glad that he did that. I hope many of you will do the same thing. We'll turn the materials from this class into an actual application that will help you in all sorts of job searches, all sorts of job opportunities. Anyway, you'll notice in the syllabus here, have a look at this. There are readings that I'm going to make available to you on Blackboard. Most of the readings will be of that nature. There's one book that I'd like you to buy. It's a cheap book. It's going to be interesting. We're going to read the whole thing during this class. In fact, we're going to read the whole thing in a week, which is pretty fast, but this is an online class, right, which is packed full of content. And it's America's Other Army. This is a job. This is somebody's account of what it's like to work in the U.S. Foreign Service. This is something I want to push you all to consider very strongly. Right, if you're doing global politics, you're obviously interested. Now, there are valid reasons why you wouldn't want to go into the US Foreign Service, but it's certainly something that you should consider in detail, all of you. And so we'll have a week on the Foreign Service, and we will read this book. And so I'm asking you to buy it because I can't find it in a format that I can put it online. It's very inexpensive if you buy the paperback version, and it's something that will be interesting for you to read. I think I saw it for $20. You can probably get it for cheaper though on Amazon. Okay, so there will be some readings, quite a few readings throughout the class. There'll also be my lectures. I've called them overviews on the syllabus, which you'll see soon. But we're up to assessment, so let's talk about assessments. There's going to be 5 discussion posts required in these 7 weeks. There'll be 5, so that's not one every week. There'll be other things some weeks. But whenever we've done some reading, I want us to discuss that reading. That's what I'm doing in my face-to-face class, and that's what I want to do with you guys on this. It'll look differently because it's an online class, but we'll do that. We'll discuss those readings. I've put in the syllabus there that you'll see precisely how to do them. I'll give you more instructions in Blackboard. Be sure to watch my videos in the weeks that there are videos, because I might give you further instructions on there, but certainly there'll be written instructions on Blackboard as well about how those will go. But generally, let me emphasize that what I like, and I'm just figuring this out after 3 years, but what I love is I want you to, when we discuss the readings, I want to see a lot of references to the readings. I want to see you talking directly about specific passages in the reading and explaining what you think about them. That's what I want to see. Right? So if you want to get full points for your discussion posts, that's a great place to go. That's all you have to do, really. Read the thing, read the sections, the chapters, the books, and then find some way to answer the questions that I'm asking, or to fulfill the requirements that I'm setting for you with a lot of reference to the book. And if you can do that, you're going to get top marks on that. The next thing I want to do, this is about having you really consider grad school as well. I'd like for you all to consider grad school, if not now, if not when you finish college, obviously not right now. If not when you finish college, then maybe later on in your life. And what I want to do is, this is the route I went, so I have some experience in this realm. I'm going to give you a lecture about what to do when applying, what to think about when applying for grad school, what grad school might lead to in terms of a career or careers, and I'm going to talk a lot about that. And then I'm going to ask you to then use that knowledge to kind of, again, we're not going to go as far as to get together application materials, but what we're going to do is we're going to investigate what you might do in grad school, what might be an interesting research assignment, what might be an interesting area of global studies or politics or something else related to geography or sociology that you'd like to focus on. And so you'll describe that a little bit, and then you'll go into telling me, and the more specific the better. And when I say the more specific the better, I mean the more detailed you can be. And I understand that you might not be thinking about going to graduate school. It might sound like a good idea, but you haven't given it a lot of thought. Perhaps you'll be in that situation. Either way, you might not have a ready-made research project in your mind to go. But as detailed as you can be at this point, what would you like to study if you had to study at grad school? And then what I want you to do is kind of the next step of the process, which is to look around for some faculty members in different institutions. I want you to find 3 that would be great for you to work with, right? And I want you to talk about what their interests are, how they match with yours, because I think that's a great exercise. If any of you are going to go into grad school, that's something to really, and you think about choosing and how to choose grad school, that's a really good way to do it. And so I'm going to have you do that, and you'll see a little bit more details down here on the syllabus. You've got to write a resume. We're going to spend a whole week talking about resumes and cover letters. I'm going to have examples for you. I'm going to talk about why they're good examples, maybe why some of them are bad examples, and then you're going to do your own, which I'm going to grade. You've got to have a good resume. When I did this last year, there were some good ones, but there was a lot that I was able to give some tips and pointers and to make them much better. And so this is a good, a good forum for that to happen in. I've talked already about the Boren or the Fulbright proposal. I want you to look at that. I have links down in my additional resources section. I've got links to both of these fellowships, and in there it'll give you details about what you have to do to apply. I want you to get those application materials together. They differ slightly depending if you choose Boren or Fulbright, but generally for the Fulbright, for example, which is the one I did, and I'll probably try and get mine out there just to show you what I did, but you'll have one personal statement which will be quite short and will tell about you and why you're a good fit for this program, and then you'll have which are always good to write personal statements, and then you'll have a research or a project description, which is where you'll describe the project. Boron has a similar, but that has special requirements to like link it to security. Because Boron has a requirement that if you did go ahead and try and get a Boron, and if you were successful, you've got to, and we'll talk about this in another video, but you've got to commit to a certain length of service in the US security apparatus. Here's something else I'm asking you to do, and this is these last two things are completely independent. You've got to do these independently, completely independently. The first one is this. I want you to oh, bit of a drink here. Was it President Trump that was making fun of somebody drinking water? I hope he's not watching this. I'm sure he's not. Okay, so the last two things. The first thing is I want you to get yourself involved in some sort of a networking event, maybe a careers fair wherever you live, maybe some seminars about making yourself a better job candidate, webinars, something online. Oftentimes, and hopefully we'll mention this, a lot of times the security services that we'll talk about and the intelligence services, probably even the State Department, right? They have online webinars that'll give you some information. We've only got 6 weeks. Try and find 3 of them and just do a quick write-up. It explains how to do it here in the syllabus. I just want 1 page, describe the event, and then tell me, having visited the event, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to update my resume. I'm going to I've got some business cards from a networking event. I'm going to drop them emails and tell them thank you for meeting me or something like that, right? Just so 2 things, right? You're going to describe the event, and then you're going to tell me what follow-up you're going to do, what you're going to do differently because you went to that event. Okay. And finally, you can do this in about 20 minutes, I would think, and do this. I've got it due at the end of the class, this LinkedIn membership, but you can do it at any time, and just send me a screenshot that you're an all-star on there, which just basically means that you've filled out a profile. We're not going to talk a lot about LinkedIn, but I'm going to push you in that direction too. If you want to delete it afterwards, as soon as you send it to me, that's up to you. I'm not going to force anybody to use any tools, but this is an opportunity to get credit for the course for filling out and beefing up your LinkedIn profile, so it can be more of a tool for you in the job search. That's it, really. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to expect of you. Email me. You can, if you're in Tempe and you want to come by. I've got my contact details here, where I am and what time I'll be there. Check out my late work policy. That's important. I accept late work until the last day of class, but there's a penalty for every day it's late. But the minimum you can get for something is 69%. Okay, so get it in on time. It's going to save you a lot of points. A lot of these things that I'm asking you to do are just really, they're going to be great for you and useful for you in the future. And so, get those done, get those in, get the points, pass the class, get an A, boost up your GPA, and get one of these Boron or Fulbright fellowship things. Here's the schedule. We're doing week 1. When I've written an overview, that's usually me doing a video. I've got this written work, this grad school research assignment in the 2nd week. Discussion, I've got the discussions in there. Some of them, there's 2 discussions there, I guess. Here's the resume and the cover letter. Here's Boron and Fulbright. And here is the US Foreign Service careers. I'm going to do 2 weeks of that, actually. I'm going to change the dates as we are talking about it, but it's going to be September the 28th to, I guess, the 34th of September, which doesn't exist. Let's have a look. So we're going to be 28 to the 5th, right? Yeah. So treat these as approximate dates. I mean, definitely we're going to finish on October the 5th. But, well, wait a second. That was a dangerous thing to say. These dates here I'm talking about, if it's the due dates, which I have up here, don't treat those loosely. Treat those pretty strictly, because I'm going to. and you'll see we've got something due on the 29th. We might have something before that for the discussions. Let me show you this first one, this analytic culture in the US intelligence community. It's a book. It's a very short book. It's online. It's on the CIA website. I'm going to put an electronic version on Blackboard for you, and we're going to discuss that. Check out Blackboard for the specifics about what I want you to write about it and how I want you to approach the discussion. But that's going to be really useful in giving you a lot of information about what working in the US intelligence community looks like. Okay, that should be enough. Please do direct any questions about the syllabus to me as soon as you can. I'm going to hold to what is on this syllabus unless I don't. If I don't, I'm going to warn you beforehand that I'm not, and that's what this part says here. So, otherwise, you can hold me to this. And if you do notice any mistakes, it wouldn't be the first time. Then please do get in touch with me and let me know. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you to look over the syllabus and to think of any questions that you might have.